Hey guys, Jehuty here with another Tekken 7 video, and we're now looking at the changes for Lili. So in the update 4.20, Lili got quite buffed. First is a change to her rage drive. So what would happen previously is that if the opponent's back was turned to Lili when she did this, the second hit would whiff, and now that's no longer the case, as you can see. So this is a fix and also a buff. And what they've also done is that they've now buffed her generic tool down forward 1. And they've expanded the hitbox downward, because in some cases it would miss. And yeah, next thing is down forward 3. And what they've done here is that they've done some bug fixing, and that is if an opponent would block this after they're then forced into crouch and then input back, so to stay crouched, certain mids of Lili's would still be blocked despite the opponent pressing down afterwards. So this should now be fixed as well. Next in line is back to 1. And what they've said here is that they've done a bug fix, and they've increased the pushback to reduce the possibility of you and your opponent passing through one another, especially at the wall. However, as you're seeing here, it still happens a couple of times, so maybe with the next patch. Yeah, after that we have your back towards your enemy 1+2. And what they've also done here is also a bug fix, and what would happen is that if the opponent would be in a crouching position, the first hit would hit them. However, the second hit in certain cases would unnaturally miss, so it will just whiff, and this should now be fixed. So the next move in line is forward 3, 3+4, and they say they've done some bug fixing here, and they've specifically tackled the third hit of the attack. So they say that it was different in comparison to the string up 3, 3, 3+4. So they wanted to bring it more in line with that string, and so now the third hit should be the same as that string. Now we have forward 3, and what they've done here is they've buffed the behavior on block. So it used to be -6, it's now -3, so this will mean that Lili can sidestep quite reliably after having this move blocked, so that's quite a buff. Forward 4 is next up in her changes, and this is quite a massive buff. This now on counter hit launches, so this is a massive buff for Lili. And yeah, and apart from that, she's also gotten a buff to her down 1, 2. So first things first, the first hit now leaves the opponent closer to Lili, and they did this because sometimes the second hit would whiff unnaturally. On top of that, this is now a natural combo, so when the first hit connects, the second one is guaranteed. And on top of that, the first hit is now also quicker in a crouch status. So before it would be in a crouch status between 11 and 29 frames, now it already starts being in a crouch status at 9 frames to 29 frames. So that's quite a buff because it works in her favor for evasion. And yeah, that means that she would be jabbed less out of this move overall. Next up we have down 3, and this low poke has gotten its damage buff. They used to do 14, now it does 16, so that's good on for Lili. So one of the few nerfs goes to up back 1, and first things first, on block it's now -9, it used to be -5, so it's just about safe, and it's really the opponent's turn after that. But to top it off, they've also changed the behavior on counter hit and hit, so now it just grants Lili a knockdown. Before on counter hit it would launch the opponents. This is no longer the case, but I mean forward 4 has been buffed, so yeah, there's that. And yeah, next up we have up forward 3+4, 3. So we've gotten a change towards our frame advantage on block. It used to be -9, it's now -4, so that means after this move is blocked, Lili can still sidestep other moves from the opponent. And what they've also done is that the opponent is now closer to Lili after this. And yeah, the reason for this is that on hit, this move used to be neutral at 0, and it's now +5. So that means now that the opponent is closer, Lili can get her pressure game going much better now. Next move is forward 3, And what they've done here is that this is now a launcher, so it launches opponents, so that's a huge buff for Lili. But they've also done the same thing to the other variant of this move, so up 3-3, so when the second hit connects, not the first one. And yeah, this is overall quite a buff. So the second last move is during while crouching, down forward 1. So what they've done here is that on counter hits, Lili is now guaranteed follow-ups because the opponent's behavior has changed now. So that's quite a buff for a pressure game, especially for Okizeme game. And then we have her last move while crouching, down forward 3. And what they've done here is that they've changed how quickly Lili goes into a crouch status with this move. So before, she would start at 18 frames and then to 47 frames. That would be her time frame for her crouch status. Now that has been moved forward, she's already in crouch status from 10 frames going, yes, then all the way to 47 frames. So yeah, this should no longer be interrupted as much. So that about does it for all of Lili's 4.20 changes. I feel that she's been massively buffed, so she should definitely move up the tier list. And yeah, you know how this already goes. If you liked the video, leave a like. Consider subscribing because that really helps me the most. And yeah, there are more guides and more changelogs coming. And maybe you'd also find something else on the Jehuty Gaming channel. And this is your boy Jehuty, and I'll see you on the next one.